Good morning. Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And apparently, we're back on Facebook Live this morning after they had their big kerfluffle earlier this week. When they finally got everything back, what we discovered was our morning show feed to Facebook Live was being blocked by Facebook. And the notice that I was getting was that that they were trying to protect their community from spam. And I'm like, well, it's me streaming to me. I'm not spamming me. This is me streaming to me.
I just wanted to make sure it was you.
It just wanted to make sure. Well, they could look at the picture, I guess. But apparently that has been cleared up, and so now we're streaming back to me again and all that. But it was messing things up because we have the Eastern New Mexico State Fair up in Roswell. We're streaming from there, and we had soccer on Tuesday and volleyball in Roswell on Tuesday, and we have a lot of people that watch those on Facebook Live, and they were like, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Well, we're on our website. We're on YouTube." So anyway, we had some new listeners. Welcome into the studio our friends from Grammy's house, Celina, Bryant.
Good morning.
PhD.
Thank you. Good morning, Dean.
Good morning. And Ray Withers, who's the board president of Grammy's house. Ray?
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
You're an old radio expert, aren't you?
Well, a long time ago, back when we used to almost have to run tape, real tape, but back in the 80s, I used to do a live radio call-in show called The Sod Father when I was a county ag agent up in Kansas.
You didn't know this, did you, Celina?
I didn't. Get up on my level. I love it.
We used to call in different type of plant diseases, and we tried to diagnose them on the radio.
Yeah.
My wife used to say, I'd always say, "Are you fertilizing?" And if they said yes, well, I always said, "Well, that's too much." And if they said no, I said, "It's not enough for water." It's pretty simple.
There you go.
So we need the Sod Father part two.
The Sod Father part
No, we don't do that.
right.
I don't do that anymore. So.
Well, there was that would be the appropriate sequel, right? Would be all that. That's great. Well, radio has changed a little bit. We use a lot more computer technology to do what you're talking about. So everything that used to be on all these carts, and we'd have walls of carts and records and all that kind of stuff. Now it's all in that box right over there, and hope the box lasts a little while longer. So it's a lot different than it used to be. Well, let's talk about Grammy's house, because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Right.
And Celina, from in the past, your organization has had different events throughout the month, but we've been through this COVID pandemic. How has that really impacted the services that you're able to provide and how you're able to do those?
Right. It has impacted our services in the sense that we've had to take creative approaches to continue services. It's not a lot of face-to-face right now. We have not really scaled back on services. We just rerouted the way we do things. We're still providing all the services that are listed in our programs, and the other thing is that it has impacted our fundraising approaches, so to speak. It has done that, but we continue to do, and also for DV month, for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a lot of our activities, events have gone virtual. And we're still out there, and we are posting on Facebook everything that's going on. The little calendar I have there, all of those events are posted on Facebook. We will participate in the Trick or Treat Main Street, and we did participate in the career fair yesterday, and that was outdoors at the Bulldog Bowl. And it's a wonderful time. Staff had a really good time meeting with students and talking about domestic violence and the jobs that we do at Grammy's house. So,
and the thing about the COVID impact is that while it has required that you've shifted a lot to the online,
right,
domestic violence hasn't shifted to virtually or online. No. Well, I guess in a way with online abuse, but so that still is continuing. That is still a major problem in our community, is it not?
It is. It is a problem, and I think probably in the past 6 months, we have had definitely a lot of cases for orders of protection, and we've had to be creative the way we're handling those. We are providing the paperwork and guidance and everything, but it still has to be done through the courts. Our shelter, we've been busy. We haven't been full, but we've been busy, and then we also can't, our capacity is kind of cut in half, so we have to utilize hotels. And I think another issue that we've had, and it may have something to do with DV, but when they present for help, it's been with homelessness. A lot of homelessness, and these are pretty much the individuals they don't seem to be local, the ones that we dealt with, but we do what we can to help. We help with anything that we're, that we can.
Now, are you still also helping the pets of families who have been a victim of domestic violence?
Yes, our last fur baby exited the shelter back in, I want to say, June, and they were there for a while, but we still provide the shelter. We provide everything. We'll assist them with, if they're not vaccinated, we'll assist them getting that done. And the only stipulation or issue with that is if the pet has a history of aggression. Those are things we have to address. But we're still doing that, and we love doing that.
Now, you said the V word, the vaccination word. That's in regards to the pets. How have the different state mandates and health orders affected the people that you have in the shelter?
Right, and it's a little different with victims of domestic violence. We don't mandate, require, but we can highly suggest. And I think for me, as the executive director of this agency, the blessing has been that the clients that have been there have really kind of heeded to listen to things, and they have gone and vaccinated and getting tested. And so we provide the testing, we'll provide the transportation, we do all of that. And it also, with our staff, it's different. You're not mandating, but pretty much we're getting there to where our staff are, continuing to get vaccinated, because there's the policies, with your sick time, your vacation time, and then when you run out of time, you run out of time. So those are things. It's tough.
And you don't want to literally run out of time.
Right.
That's right.
Then that
would be the worst result of all
and
that.
we've got, everybody's been on board, and the testing every week, but it is a little bit, too much sometimes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But there are things that your agency has to follow because of the requirements from the state.
We're and it's the state. We have state, federal, county funding, but the state issue these mandates. Yep.
Yeah.
So we have to follow them.
Ray, you're on the board.
Yes, sir.
What got you involved? Did Celina just say you're on the board?
No, more or less. No.
More or less.
Yeah, but no, I came to town going on 7 years ago now, and I was working at another bank, and I decided I needed to get out in the community. And one day, you and I had talked about how to support community events, and we decided that we would pay for the advertising of different things. And I think this was through DV month. I think that's when we did it, and the bank I was at that time sponsored some months full of ads, and at that time I asked Celina if she needed another board member, and at that point that's how I kind of got on the board. And typical to all civic boards, you're there for a month and then you're president. I mean, I happen that way in Rotary, about anything. If you're live and breathing, you become the board chairman.
That's right.
He's
that's
a keeper, though.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and I'm sure just like in your work at First American Bank and our work here at the radio station, what Celina talked about at Grammy's house, navigating through all the issues associated with the impact of the COVID-19 virus has been a real challenge for the board to try to help continue to provide these services in our team.
It is, and I want to say one thing to the community at large. I'm amazed, as well as the rest of the board, at the generosity of this community. It is amazing. The number of people that just show up and say, hey, I want to help. Or we've got groups that just bring in, you wouldn't ever think of it, but they bring in toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies. I mean, the stuff they bring in is phenomenal in the support, and even dog food.
Right.
And because we have those pets now. And the story of how that came about is just really heart-wrenching. And so I want to thank the community from the board, and I'm sure from the staff and from Celina,
Absolutely.
for their support. It's just unbelievable what this community does day in and day out.
Right.
I almost forgot about the great toilet paper shortage of 2020.
Yeah.
So dedonations, I'm sure, were very much appreciated.
Yes, and do you know, one of the things, I'll piggyback on what he said, is definitely, I can't say enough thank yous to everyone who donates, but recently we've been getting interest from our youth, high school kids wanting to volunteer.
Well, children are in families where this domestic violence takes place, so that's very interesting that they want to do that. You were telling me that yesterday you were at the career fair.
Had staff there, yes.
And had a pretty good response from the students that were going through,
Right.
looking at some of the other career opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah, the information we received is that they stopped by the table, spoke to my staff, and gave their name and number. And once they want me to call them back, some of them are wanting to do volunteer work and start for their college applications.
That's great.
And a lot of them had some connection in one way or another to Grammy's house.
Well, let's before we run completely out of time, you want to mention some of the highlights from what events that Grammy's house will be being a part of this month?
Yes. So we are asking you to follow us on Facebook. We did have Speak Out Against Domestic Violence, share a story. That was on the 5th. And then we have, we did our proclamation for domestic violence awareness with the mayor. That was on the 1st. We like to start the month out that way. In honor of domestic violence, we want you to wear purple next week on the 12th, and also the 21st is Wear Purple Day.
Okay.
And also stop by, make a donation to Grammys, call and see what it is that you can do. And you can do that also, P.O. Box 654, Artesia, either way. And then also we will be streaming live. We'll be on Facebook Live interview for Domestic Violence Awareness Month with our state coalition.
Okay.
And that is on the 25th at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And so Facebook Live. And I think that's it. And also come say hello on Main Street, Trick or Treat.
Okay.
Trick or Treat Main Street.
Now will you folks be in costume on that night?
Well, I'm in costume all the time. But
Yeah, I think, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of UPS people out there in costume.
Well, you got to wear shorts then.
yeah. Well, one quick thing
Right.
before we run out of time, Gene.
Yeah.
The First American Bank staff is collecting food for Grammy House, all non-perishable items that are not outdated.
Okay.
And we'll have a box set up in the lobby on the 15th, and you're welcome to bring the food then, and we'll go through the end of October, I believe. And we're kind of just getting it all pieced together. Celina's going to give us a wish list of food, romaine noodles probably, I guess. So anyway, so if you want to bring some stuff by, please do.
Okay, and you'll have those boxes out starting on the 15th?
Yeah, they'll be in the lobby at the main bank.
At the main bank, downtown Artesia. Excellent. Well, glad we could have you come in. I think we have you scheduled another...
The 19th, I
The
think,
19th
yes.
to come back and chat with us again.
Absolutely. Thank
But
you.
if folks have any questions, they can give you a call at Grammy's house.
At Grammy's house, 748-1198.
Okay, great. Ray, was there anything else you wanted to...
Nope,
mention today?
I've said everything I need to. So.
Okay. Well, I'm glad, you're still around when it comes to dirt and sod questions.
Yeah.
But I did hire a service, and I actually have green grass in the yard now. And it's amazing what chemicals will do.
Oh, isn't it? So, we finally got moved from Roswell to Artesia, and one of the requirements for both my wife and I, because we grew up in the Midwest, was to have green grass. And we actually, because we kind of like to walk through the grass in our bare feet. We're not like all you desert rats out here that get along with that. So, thank you, sir.
No, we're glad you were able to get that one figured out.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what's there, so you can answer any questions on it.
Well, not all the time. But
Well, we'll be looking for you to be the Yard of the Month here pretty quick.
I doubt that's happening. So.
All right, Ray Withers, Board President, and Celina Bryant with the Director of Grammy's House. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go ahead and get the next hour started.